What's going on, everybody? Brick Builder here, and welcome to another episode of Minecraft Super Survival. And in today's episode, we're going to be building a birch dock here around this cove. In addition to that, we're going to be doing a little bit of a talky episode today, where we're going to be discussing whether or not YouTube is a real job. And we're going to be discussing this just because I've really been thinking about it a lot recently, and kind of like the stigma that YouTubers instantly face with their job. And I was just thinking about it, so today we're going to be discussing that and my opinions towards it. And then, of course, you know, this is all about the conversation. So let me know your opinion on it down in the comments. I do really want to hear what your personal viewpoint is on this and whether or not you classify YouTube as a real job. But I think the first thing we're going to start with is that the stigma that gaming YouTubers specifically here is kind of the big focal point of what we're going to be talking about. But of course this applies to all YouTubers, because in my opinion YouTube is a career, and it is actually a quite difficult career. A lot of people give this like concept of making videos as easy, boring, or like super easy, that anybody can become a YouTube gamer, you know, and be successful on the platform. And I'm going to tell you something, that is not true in the slightest. It doesn't work like that, you know what I mean? It's just like, oh, because I can sing doesn't instantly make me the next Justin Bieber, you know what I mean? Or just because I can play video games doesn't make me the next, like, you know, it doesn't make me the next big gamer. You know, just because I play Minecraft, I can't be the next Captain Sparkles because I play Minecraft, you know what I mean? Or I can't be the next PewDiePie because it doesn't happen like that. It's not just because, oh, I play video games, I can do this just as well as they do. Because, yes, being semi-okay at video games is definitely a part of it. But what goes into a YouTuber's job is a lot more than just playing games. There's a lot more to it than just, okay, I can play video games, you know what I mean? It definitely does help for a lot of creators, but there's so many video game creators that don't. And they're still good YouTubers despite the fact that their, you know, videos are not maybe them the best at the game in the world. They're still, like, successful in what they do, and you can still classify them as successful. So being good at video games does help, but it's not the reason that you can succeed doing it. So it, you know, it's not a career that anybody can do, just like every other career. Not everybody can become a doctor, not everybody can be a lawyer, not everybody is capable of being, you know, a soldier in the military or whatever career it may be. Not everybody's capable of doing that. So YouTube, though, has a lot of elements that a lot of people think make it not a job, because A, you're doing something in an untraditional market. For a lot of people, YouTube is just like a new genre. And truthfully, it is. It's a new platform still in comparison to like existing fields like doctors, which have been here for, you know, hundreds of years. Same goes for like almost a lot of the big careers. They've been here for quite a while. So people are kind of like, you know, they've just learned to accept that these are jobs. But YouTube is like this new interesting genre, because from most audiences' perspectives, it seems like what they do is only play video games. But I can't even tell you how much behind the scenes YouTubers put in. Like, I'm not even doing YouTube as a full-time job at this point, but I still easily put in the same amount of hours that a full-time job would be. And I mean, not that I do YouTube for the money, but I'm not getting close to the salary that a full-time job would pay me. But that's not really why I do YouTube, so it's not really like a fair comparison there. But I mean, like, I don't do it as a career. I don't have a long-standing business out of YouTube. But that's what YouTube is. For a lot of creators, it is a business, and that's their livelihood. So when you see like YouTubers complaining about things like AdSense and all, you can say what you want about them just complaining. But ultimately, I think most people, if their job salaries were cut in half overnight, a lot of people would be annoyed as well. But the big thing that I don't think a lot of people realize with YouTubers is that there's a lot that goes in behind the scenes. Yes, you play games, but look at it like this. If it's not a traditional job, which by no stretch of the imagination it is, but I can tell you that I've developed skills that I could, you know, I edit my own videos. I star in my own videos. I produce my own videos. I talk to an audience. I can do sound stuff, you know what I mean? Like, I work microphones. I work tech. You know what I mean? There's a lot behind the scenes that people don't see. Art, I could be a graphic design person, you know what I mean? Like, if you put it in that perspective, YouTubers actually do a lot. 'Cause it's generally a one-man show until, like, to start it off, you know what I mean? Eventually, maybe you get some employees or you don't. It's really up to you. But either way, it's still like a career that's really sort of new. It's a new type of media. You know, it's not an advertisement, it's not TV. So a lot of people just aren't used to it. And a lot of people don't accept that it's a thing and that it's a viable career because they deem it as too easy, which by no stretch of the imagination is this an easy job, especially for some of the creators, because there are creators like the mid-sized creators who do this full-time, which mid-sized creator, you know, if you have a family and all that stuff and you're doing this, it's very difficult. You know, it doesn't have a set pay. YouTube does not have like a set, okay, this is how much money you're gonna make every single month. So you have no sort of sense of stability unless you're really big, but even at that point, you still don't, because your sense of stability is just, okay, well, one month I can be making like $100,000 and the next month I can be making $10,000. You know what I mean? That's not really stable. It's just that you're making enough money that the amount of money that would be smaller for you is still a stable amount of money to function. But regardless, the concept still stands is that there's no set salary here. So it's difficult for people to really kind of grasp how much money they're gonna make for the month. So they gotta plan ahead. There's lots of budgeting, lots of saving. Also, I mean, it is running your own business, so there's a lot of behind the scenes. If you want to do something like a sponsored video, those are very difficult to, you know, first of all, obtain. But once you get them, you know what I mean? Like, it's difficult to get all that. To work with a company to get sponsored videos, that's definitely a thing. But at the same time, it is a new media, the whole concept of sponsored videos and sponsored posts and stuff on social media. But that's like another thing that helps people with their livelihood. And, you know, that's the thing that YouTubers have to work with doing. You know, you're running a brand. Now, here's the difference, though. Usually, the brand that you're running is you. Especially for gaming YouTubers. The brand is usually the person behind the game. Like, the person behind the, you know, the microphone or whatever. That's usually the brand. The brand is you. It's not like some genre, or it's not like you can fill somebody else in your place. Which is why not everybody can become a YouTuber. Because you can't just, you know, become a YouTuber and then pop somebody else behind the camera or behind the microphone and expect it to still do the same. YouTube is very much a career where it's based off personality and the person rather than what you make. Especially for gaming YouTubers, it's not really the content that you make, it's the person behind the content that separates those who get to be successful and those who don't. I might be one of the few people who look at it this way, but I think that the way YouTube works is it's like you have a cap for how many people are going to ever watch you, and you have like this limit on what your personality is capable of like retaining. So like, for instance, currently I have a fairly large audience in my opinion, and if it doesn't get bigger, then I hit my cap, I reach my peak. And that's my peak for people who are going to be interested in me and who I like relate with and like are interested in watching what I make. Now, there are other creators though who are like growing at ridiculously high rates who have other people who are still interested in watching them. So they're still growing and they're getting bigger and their personality hasn't been like ended. It's still getting discovered. Now, there are certain exceptions to that. For instance, there are YouTubers who do like tips videos and stuff, where that's less on, in my opinion, the personality and more on the, do you give good tips and are you good at what you're, you know what I mean? Like, are you good at what you're doing? Which of course is fair. I'm not saying that's a wrong type of content or that you shouldn't make that. I'm just saying that that's a little bit different and it breaks the rule that I kind of just mentioned with the whole personality being the reason that you either succeed or fail on YouTube. Because personality is very important on the platform. I think that that's what separates YouTube and separates this genre of video, YouTube video, from just like regular television. Is it's based off personality, and the glory of this is that it's a one-man show for the most part, where it's in a way, a quote-unquote homemade video series type. I think that's very interesting, and that it's still something that the internet is like learning to deal with and learning that it exists. Because, like, as you can tell, YouTube is, like, a massive platform now. I mean, it was always a pretty big platform, but now it's, like, really big. And, you know, brands are just learning that they can work with these creators to make some very personalized and very successful ad campaigns that are a lot cheaper than television. Because it's different, because it's a one-man show and it's not this giant advertisement. So it works a lot better for most, like, you know, companies and stuff. So it's definitely interesting, but creators as a whole, like, doing this job is not easy for anybody who does do it as a living. It is not no easy career by any stretch of the imagination. Anybody who says it's easy just hasn't lived a day where they've tried to do it or they haven't done it. Don't say YouTube is easy until you've tried it. Then, let me know what you think. But if you think it's easy, well, you probably had some sort of luck. Because most people don't find it easy. And even the people who have like millions of subscribers, it doesn't get any easier for them. It just means that they have a larger audience. But it doesn't make it any easier. Sometimes a larger audience can almost be negative in a way for some creators. It depends on the creator, of course, and what they're doing and all that sort of thing. So that's just up to the person, like really what works for them and what works for their personality. But either way, YouTube is definitely a job, I think. And a lot of people don't see it that way. And I feel like it's almost like a punch in the face to YouTubers. Because it's like, you know, you work so hard in your craft and you're trying to be, I guess, quote-unquote accepted as working in the media field or in the press field or whatever field you're trying to work in, whether that be information, gaming, whatever you're trying to get into. But a lot of people don't even look at you as that in like the corporate world, which I think is kind of disgusting, to be completely honest. Like, there's a lot that goes into YouTube that people don't see. Like the audience, whenever the audience goes, YouTube isn't a real job, you know what I mean? Like that also annoys me, because like if you've never tried to be a YouTuber, don't knock it, you know what I mean? Like if you don't know what they do behind the scenes, you know, there's more to YouTube than just what you see. There's so much behind the scenes work that you don't see. Like something as simple as for medium to big size YouTubers, like checking your emails. That can take them hours. You don't know how many emails they get? Like out of like probably a few hundred emails, one of those is like an actually thought out email. You know what I mean? The rest are just like sent because it's like, oh, why not send it to you? Maybe you'll check out our game. And every once in a while you get a good one that like actually makes sense and is supposed to be there. But like, you know, it seems like there's a lot of behind the scenes work that people don't realize. And there's like, you know, trends. You got to learn how to do SEO, graphic design, sound production, editing, all that sort of thing. There's a lot that goes into it that people don't even realize. Like, it's very important. Like, you got to figure out what's going to work for you, what isn't. You got to be able to quickly adjust your business model, especially nowadays with YouTube's changing like policies and stuff, which that's a whole topic for another video. But like, YouTube, in my opinion, is definitely a job, and it should be treated as one for the people who are it. Now, I do disagree with the concept of anybody is a YouTuber because they have a YouTube channel. I think there's a distinct difference between being a YouTuber and owning a YouTube channel. I think it's all, but it's not about the amount of money you make. See, I consider myself a YouTuber, and by no stretch of the imagination am I making nearly enough money to support myself at all. Like, I can barely support like buying food realistically if I was going to do this full-time as a job. I do YouTube full-time, not as a job. There's a difference. But like, the amount of money you make shouldn't define whether or not you're a YouTuber. Being a YouTuber is so much more than the amount of money you make. I think it's about the amount of time, effort you put into it, whether or not you care about your audience, care about your craft, you know, whether you apply yourself when making videos or you just make them to have fun. Nothing wrong with that, but it's just that it's like the stigma behind it. There's a very large difference that I just think some people don't seem to realize exists, and that, you know, yes, having a big audience does make it easier for you to be quote-unquote a YouTuber from my definition of a YouTuber, but by no stretch of the imagination are you not a YouTuber because you don't have millions of subscribers, you know what I mean? I consider myself a YouTuber. Now, not a full-time YouTuber as far as money-wise goes, but I'm definitely a YouTuber in my opinion, in my sense, because of the way I look at it. Like, behind the scenes, being something, of course, who's behind my channel, I can kind of tell you that I put a lot of work in behind the scenes and that I put a lot of drive, a lot of passion into it. So I think that makes me a YouTuber. But maybe you don't agree with that. Of course, I do want to know what to you defines a YouTuber. Like, what makes you qualified to be a YouTuber? You know what I mean? Like, what gives you that title? Because I feel like anybody can make videos on YouTube, but the people who do it consistently, the people who do it as a job, or the people who do it and, you know, put a lot of work into it, those people, in my opinion, are YouTubers. And the rest, well, they're just people on the platform. There's nothing wrong with just having a channel and just doing it for fun, but I don't think you should call yourself a YouTuber. You should just do it because you know what I mean? Like, there's a difference, in my opinion. But, of course, you should let me know what you think down in the comments, because I'm definitely very interested in hearing your opinions on this, guys. Especially, let me know if you're a content creator, whether or not you are, whether or not, you know, whatever you do. Like, if you're not doing YouTube full-time, you know, then tell me that. If you are a YouTuber, if you consider yourself a YouTuber, you know what I mean? All that sort of thing. I'd really like to know your guys' thoughts and feedback on this, just because, like, I feel like a lot of people don't realize the stigmas behind YouTube. Like, it might not be a traditional job, but we're in the 21st century right now. A traditional job doesn't need to exist anymore. like traditionality is not a thing anymore. The years 2000s and all, the 21st century are literally here to break every single stigma that there was, every sort of past tradition. We're here to like shape the future. Like honestly, 21st century major world turning point. I think that's pretty well like apparent that this is definitely a major turning point and a major change for a large portion of history as a whole. So why, like, the concept of a traditional job just doesn't make a lot of sense anymore, because there's no such thing as a traditional job anymore as far as YouTube goes. There are traditional jobs, but nowadays we can break traditions. That's what we're supposed to do, you know what I mean? Like, you're supposed to innovate, and YouTube was definitely an innovation as far as, you know, careers goes. Like, YouTube employs thousands of creators when you think about it, because they all get paid from AdSense, and that makes them, you know, enough money so that way they can support themselves, their families, their futures, etc. Like, YouTube's let so many people be able to buy a house or just put food on the table or buy a new computer or even just like a new microphone or whatever you really wanted out of it, you know what I mean? It's created a lot of potential for people. And I don't think especially the media groups, like, not that there's anything wrong with this perspective. I can see why they might be a little bit upset about YouTube, because like their potential competition. But see, the thing is, most YouTubers aren't even trying to be the competition. The media just puts you out that way. Like, you know, I don't think a lot of YouTubers are opposed to working with media groups or, you know, all that sort of thing. But the media puts all YouTubers out there as this, like, evil that are gonna, like, rid the earth of blah, 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 blah. And really, most YouTubers are just here to have fun, you know what I mean? Like, we're here, yes, to make a living for the people who, of course, have it as a job or whatever your, like, reason for YouTube is. Either way, I don't think a lot of creators are here for money. There definitely are some that are, but I don't think most of them are out for the perspective of, okay, we got to destroy the mainstream media, take them out, you know, non-traditional all the way. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's what creators are really going for, really striving for, but that might just be my opinion. I don't really know. I don't, you know, have a multi-million subscriber channel, so I can't really tell you all the behind the scenes of YouTube. I can just tell you the way I deal with everything. But it's a lot different for bigger creators than it is for someone of my size. Not that I'm complaining, I'm completely content with my size. And I don't do YouTube for subscribers. I do it to entertain people and just to raise people's moods, which is why I personally think I've already succeeded on YouTube. And that's my reason for why I think I can call myself a YouTuber, is that I have a goal and then I feel like I achieved the goal at some point. I think that's essential. You have to have some form of goal. Whatever your goal is, that's important, in my opinion, to being considered a YouTuber. Like, the classification of just being a YouTuber instead of just being someone on YouTube is that you have to have a purpose for being on the platform, like, as opposed to just, you know, anything else. Like, there has to be a reason you're here, and there has to be a good reason. But that's just my opinion on it. So, of course, I would like to know your guys' opinions down below in the comment section. So please let me know if you think YouTube's a real job, why you think it's a real job, and what classifies you as a YouTuber, quote unquote, as opposed to just someone on the platform. Because I definitely think there's a big difference on that, and I really want to know what you guys view and what your opinions are on it, because I definitely think there's going to be quite the differing opinions, which I think is great, because the big thing about things is we should always consider all the perspectives. So I can't wait to hear what everybody's perspective is. But I think we actually built a fairly nice doc in today's little talkie episode here, talking about YouTube and whether or not it's a real job and just kind of the stigmas behind being a YouTuber and whether or not it's classified as a mainstream job or not. But either way, let me know your thoughts down below. If you did enjoy the video, hit that like button. Hopefully I picked your brain a little bit about this whole YouTube platform and all that sort of thing. And hopefully you guys will smash the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in another episode of Minecraft Super Survival. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!